Surveyors are able to acquire a number of attributes both while out in the field and after they have picked up their survey. In this video, we will show you how to attach attributed data tables to COGO points and survey strings in a drawing, and then edit the data fields for each point. To attach attribute data tables to points, we first create a project database to store the extended attribute information. From the attribute data dropdown, we select Setup Project Database, and here we can see a list of schemas. Schemas contain attribute data tables and fields that can be assigned to your survey data. The basic schema shown here includes attribute data tables to include addition of comments to points, and in the case of trees, the ability to store extended data such as species and protection. Next, we can assign table maps. These will automate the attachment of different data tables to points based on their codes. In this case, the code library that we're looking at is numeric, so we're going to leave it as that. However, if I drop one of these down, you can see we have access to both a numeric one and an alpha dataset. From here, you're going to want to go OK to assign these attributes to the points based on their code library. Once it's done, users are then able to go ahead and do any edits they may want to do using things such as the edit point attributes, edit string attributes, and the table viewer. If you're wanting to work with individual points or strings, I recommend using either the edit point or the edit string options, and these allow you to select individual objects and run them up as needed. If you wish to switch the current attribute table assigned to the object you have selected, simply use the drop down found here and then select the table you wish to switch it to. In this case, let's switch it to an electrical pit and then go change table. And you can see that it has now switched the fields available to me. To edit on a more global scale, drop down attribute data and this time select table viewer. From here, you are given a number of different ways to edit your data. If we drop down object, we are able to edit both the COGO point and the survey strings from here, with the controls being the same. We drop down table to switch between different tables available. In this case, let's try tree. And then we are able to filter the information based on the different fields. Now we can see that for each of the trees, I have already edited the fields attached to them. When you first attach object data to the points and survey strings to the project, default values will be applied, and following this, you can edit each field per point or string. Looking at this, we can see here that we have two of these highlighted in red. This is showing that the user input value does not match the allowable inputs for this field. For every field, you can establish a list of allowable inputs. The software checks these lists and highlights field entries that are incorrect. Use the pick list shown here to select a valid input. In this case, I'll select eucalyptus for the species and set the protector status to yes. You can see that the warning highlight disappears as we now have valid field inputs. For other fields not controlled via the list, you can manually input into the fields. And if you need to, you can do this en masse via the Shift and Control buttons, allowing you to highlight selected cells, going override selected, and then entering a value of your choosing. Let's now explore some outputs that include your attributed data. First, let's look at creating a table of information. One way to achieve this is to copy the attributed data fields and apply them as point properties. From there, we can then create a table using these point properties. The first thing we're going to want to do is assign all of these fields to the points themselves. So we're going to drop down this here and go sync to COGO properties to sync those attributes onto the points themselves. From here, we're going to go to point groups and then select the point group you wish to create the table for. In this case, I'll be working with trees at Civil 3D. From here, you're going to want to make sure that you have use property list selected, as that will allow us to use a custom property list of our choosing. You can then go set up property list and select one of your choosing. In this case, we have a number of them pre-created, so I'm going to select the browse option. and you can see the pre-created ones here. All of the options you see will be available to you with the installation of V26. So I'll select tree here, and you can see we have species, protected, canopy, trunk, and height, all available as different properties. So I'll go apply, and we can see here within the table that I have comments, species, protected, canopy, trunk, and height all set up, ready to be looked at. The values have all been loaded in, and we are able to export using these options here. In this particular circumstance, I'm looking to export out a CAD table, so I'll select that option, and then select where in the drawing I want it to be placed. Upon placing it, I can scan across here. I can see the comments all loaded in, my species, the protected list, and my numerical values. If you are wanting to export out GPS data, I recommend using this option here, the Export to GIS command, which will export out each of your attribute tables individually as both point and survey string tables.